This episode of Nuff Said is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
In our world, there are heroes and there are devils. But in the kitchen of hell, the hero is the devil. Welcome to the Devil You Know. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Charlie the Professor S3E7. As always is my skinny rich friend.
It's Mozz.
Hey, Mozz. Welcome back to the Devil You Know, season technically 2.
Yeah.
Episode 7. Because we never actually did a season. We never covered season 1, The Devil You Know. And we always say we'll go back and do season 1, and then just other stuff. Life gets in the way.
They keep putting out more shows.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, thank goodness we don't have that problem anymore.
Right.
Anyway, moving right along. Tonight's episode is, as I like to call it, Gem. Because after math, you have...
Oh, I just got that. That's funny.
I'm an old man.
Yeah, that's really funny.
These are the jokes I tell. No, tonight's episode, Aftermath. The press crucifies Daredevil after the attack on the Bulletin, and Agent Nadim suspects the FBI paid too high a price for Fisk's cooperation.
Finally.
Yeah, well, he's a little slow on the uptake, but he's getting there. Tonight's director is Toa Fraser, or possibly Toe Fraser. Toafraser. It's either has too few or too many vowels. I'm not sure. Stan Lee, Bill Everett, of course, created these wonderful characters over at Marvel. Drew Goddard gets our created by credit for the Daredevil series. Sarah Stryker gets our written by. Tonya Kong is our story editor, and our hardest working unsung artist in Hollywood, Sarah Stryker, is once again our uncredited staff writer. She works so hard, she gets none of the respect. So tonight's episode, we are opening up with good old Wilson, just reveling, if you will, in what he has been able to con out of the FBI. And if you did not think he was pure evil before this, if you thought maybe he was actually trying to turn over a new leaf just to get with the woman he loved, you were not paying attention. What do you think, Mozz?
Well, I think he could be doing both, you know. He doesn't have to choose one or the other. He's a man used to getting what he wants, and he wants both those things equally as much, I think. I don't think the fact that he wants one sort of says something about how much he wants the other.
Well, here's what I'll say. He wants his wife back, and he wants all of his things back.
Right. But that's not to say that he doesn't love her.
No. Quite the opposite. No, it's not about love. It's about the fact that he's not really helping the FBI.
Right.
That this was all just a long con to get himself back where he wanted to be with the money and the power and his beautiful dame by his side.
Right.
But I do find interesting that we are opening up, and this is kind of a weird thing for me. It is a little weird, and I'm sure it just threads the needle on possible timelines. But why he cannot get the Rabbit in the Snowstorm returned.
Yeah, what is that about? And I looked up the painting. It's basically just all white.
Yeah.
Pretty much like the wall he's looking at. But like that I thought that was interesting.
Well,
I wonder if it's something about him just like hiding in plain sight or what, you know?
Well, in the first season, what it really is it's like the first piece of art that his wife sells him.
Oh.
Sentimental value. But what I found fascinating about why he can't get get it is because there is basically a Holocaust claim on it. That this was looted from some other lady's family, presumably during the Holocaust. I mean, I suppose there are other points in history where people have stolen great art from families and part of a genocide that they have rights to, but usually when we get these kinds of claims about art, it does usually relate to the Holocaust. And that kind of minimalist, large canvas, single color work, I did not think Kandinsky, because Kandinsky, of course, really is seen as the pioneer of this. I did not think he was a known artist in the 40s when a Holocaust claim might have come. I thought he really didn't come about till later, but I could be wrong on that.
Well.
Yeah, but so it's interesting to me that there is this Holocaust. Although it could be like that's why it's so precious and so valuable, because it is like one of the very first fully abstractionist works. That maybe even, you know, as we've recently started to understand, like, you know, things like surrealism and other takes on science as we think of it, or not science as we think of it, art as we think of it, actually predate a lot of what we commonly think of as the start of artistic movements. That people were experimenting with things, which I've known for years, because I've often said that, you know, Hieronymus Bosch really pioneered surrealism, you know, a century before anyone else was doing it. You know, Hieronymus Bosch is the founder of surrealism. Anyone who's ever seen, you like the Tripitch, the Garden of Earthly Delights, that is straight nightmare fuel Dali at its best. And so I do find that interesting. I like it, and I do like the fact that there is someone who is putting a claim on something that is also thwarting Fisk. That there is, and of course his lawyer is like, well, you know, we can use this now as leverage, because if they can't actually get it back for you, but we said they had to get it back from you, now we can get you something else. But of course, he doesn't really want that. He wants what he wants. Which is a scary thing in and of itself, because that whole, I need it to be what it was. It is that level of obsessive compulsion that suggests true danger.
Right, he's going to hold you to your word.
Yeah. Well, you know, well, it doesn't just hold you to your word. It's that, here's the thing. It's like, you know, if they say, oh, we don't have red cars in the lot today, I can give you a blue car, and I'll knock $100, I'll knock $1,000 off the price. You know, you don't go, no, you promised me a red car. You know, it's really, you know. But of course, as I said, this is a piece with deep sentimental value for him and his wife, for him and Vanessa. So I think he and Vanessa do have, he wants this piece to be there when Vanessa arrives. Right. That is what he's working towards, bringing Vanessa here.
One thing I thought was interesting is, like, in this episode, you get to see everybody sort of after that event, and they all have somebody to take care of them, somebody to talk to, except for Karen. You know, Matt goes and he has Sister Maggie, and Nadim, you know, was talking to his wife, and they make it a point for him to say to his wife, I'm fine. Foggy says, I'm fine. And Karen walks away, and she really has nowhere to go. And it sort of follows with that pattern throughout this episode.
Oh, yeah, and not only that, and yeah, I mean, Karen has no one to go to. You really see how unhinged she is. And I believe actually in this episode, if I recall correctly, she does call her father.
What was
at the very end of the episode.
Yes.
And
yes.
And he's like, oh, you know, I just had a good time.
Whereas yeah.
Its own kind of crazy take on it, that because we do get that Karen is alone throughout this whole thing, and we see her feeling the weight of all the death and mayhem she has brought upon these people.
Right.
To have this big event in a public place, on the assumption that, you know, Fisk isn't going to do exactly what he did. And that, I think, is the that is like the real shock of the whole thing. Because what Fisk did in the last episode of just unleashing, Hellfire, if you will, on innocent people, that does not seem like a Fisk move, that scorched earth policy. But it kind of makes sense in the context of it. That, in the context of it, Wilson Fisk normally would not burn down an entire city just to make a point. But in this moment, because what he really wants to do isn't just to extract revenge. He wants the world to see other people as the villain. He wants to create a monster bigger than himself. And by creating this monster, by creating the Daredevil monster, he is, in essence, sort of making himself into the hero. In the first season, again, the season we've never reviewed, he does make this big point about how he wants to be the hero of Hell's Kitchen. He wants to be the savior of Hell's Kitchen. But he never really gets the chance to do that. He never really gets the opportunity to do that. And at the end of the first season, he says, well, I am the monster, I am the villain, I will be the villain. But then, as the story progresses, we never get... Now he realizes, I have everything I want, and I can be the hero again by simply making my enemies the villain. And... I think this is what we're seeing. And, when we see him get his costume out, and I love the fact that, the IMDb page, we see he's got, like, the dozen white and black suits.
Right.
Essentially the costume, the hero costume. And I noticed, this I thought was a neat thing, it's a silk suit, which means it has this sheen.
Right.
This sort of iridescent glow like spandex.
Yeah.
This is his superhero costume.
No, I totally figure, but see, I don't think he's so fascinated by the idea of being a hero anymore. I think the second season was sort of about him taking charge and finding his spine and figuring out who he is, and that he doesn't care whether it's right or wrong or good or bad. The only thing that matters is his survival and his thriving. Everything else is fair game. The idea of innocent people versus guilty people has no relevance to how he views the world. It's simply like a chess game. I have to take your pieces because I have to. And everything justified in that. I don't think he thinks about things in those terms.
Well, and I will definitely agree with you on that. Although what I will say is, I think as we see him rebuilding his season 1 life, I think some of those season 1 ideals are returning to him. That he wants to be Mayor Fisk's. He wants to be who he once imagined himself to be. In its own way, and again, this goes back to that painting, and about having everything in place, having everything perfection, having everything what he wants it to be, to show the world he is the hero, because, in his own perspective, and really, excuse me, I think, even still, he sees himself as the hero. When he looks at his first great crime, which was the murder of his father, and I believe he speaks of this to Poindexter this episode, that this was in defense of his mother. He didn't kill his father for revenge or for cruelty or for his own power. He killed his father because his father was an abusive monster who was hurting his mother. And when he kills this person, he sees it as an act of heroism. And I think one of the things that still grates on him is that the world at the time, and maybe even still to this day, would see it as an act of cruelty. When we see what Karen seeks to do later, I think, and this will get into the next episode, I think it does emphasize this fact that what Fisk did as a child objectively was a good thing. He saved his mother from an abusive man. He took action and took the life of a monster to help someone he cared about. And to use that as the noose to hang him with in our modern day seems a little disjointed because, immediately we think, well, I think you could have a really strong argument that he simply was defending an innocent person and yes, he used violence in a way that maybe we would not accept, but violence in defense of others is a justifiable defense. And so I think there is maybe even this zeal on the part of others to bring down Fisk by any means necessary. And this is, I don't want to get into too much in the next episode, but I think that is an idea here that, sometimes people lose sight of, okay, what is the process to actually be a hero, not necessarily what is most efficient to accomplish our heroic goals. Because if all you're doing is whatever you need to do to get to the next spot, well, then you're no different than Fisk. Fisk doesn't want to do the work to be a hero, he just wants the accolades.
I think the scene that I found most interesting was Karen visiting her boss at the hospital. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of mirroring what Matt is going through with Sister Maggie. And she's saying, hey, it's my fault all these people died. And she's saying the same thing, it's my fault. But here, because of what she can't do, she gets to lose that portion of her life after everybody else. Here, again, she gets fired. I thought that was a great scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great scene, but again, it goes into this thing that everyone is trying to protect Matt's secret. And there's a part of me that just says, why are you trying to protect Matt's secret? It's clear that Matt isn't even really working that hard to protect it. Why are you, to make it short, why are you protecting a dead man's secret? Because Matt Murdock is, for all intents and purposes, dead.
Right, but everybody holds out hope that he'll be able to return. That's the end goal in everybody's mind. Nobody wants to see him go. And I think the truth of it really is, because in that moment, if you sit and think about it, would he do it for you? Absolutely. You know what I mean? So I think that was definitely in everybody's mind. It's like, yeah, you got to return you got to be a good person,
But then again, if there's one person she knows she can trust,
right?
It would be her editor there, and her decision to basically say, I won't tell you who Daredevil is, basically justifies his firing him. And I think that makes a nice contrast when, after Matt asks Foggy, don't tell Karen I'm still here, Foggy goes to Karen and says, look, I'm not going to lie to you ever again. I'm not gonna keep this guy's secrets because he doesn't deserve to have his secrets kept. And more to the point, he is not, he's going to blow it anyway at this point. And I know that my relationship with you, Karen, is more important than this secret that Matt wants to keep. And in this moment, Karen is putting Matt above her relationship with other people. And it's sort of this thing that kind of shows that, Karen and Matt, I guess, are so cut from the same cloth.
Right.
They're so want to be the martyr and so want to sacrifice. And it really comes from a place of feeling a lack of love, I think. that they never feel that they are worthy of love, and so they never feel that they can exist in their own actualization. They have to exist through their sacrifices for others.
Yeah.
At least that's one theory. I don't know. But yeah. Let's see here. What else is going on in this episode?
And I think it was kind of cool to see Melvin, because I kept thinking that Fisk had Daredevil's own suit that he maybe stole from Daredevil's house. But when you see Melvin, I was like, oh, so they had to make another one. And then Melvin betrays him. I was like, oh my God, not Melvin. And God, man, that guy is strong.
Yeah. Actually, Melvin, he actually is a super villain in the general Marvel universe. He is, I believe, he is a character. I believe he is the Gladiator, and I think he might also be Stiltman in some iterations.
Wow.
Yeah, he is actually a classic Daredevil villain, and yes, he's very strong. He is very, he's a big guy. They did a good casting on him.
Man, and that guy plays him so well. Like, there's subtle little nuances to his character, like that he's like a little slow or a little simple, whatever. But man, there's so much to that character. That guy plays it really, really well.
Well, and I think that's one of these classic things, and I think that's sort of something that we get in the way that Daredevil even sees it when he has Fisk's mind, the Fisk hallucination, where he's saying, oh, Daredevil gave him a simpleton. Clearly Melvin isn't a simpleton. He is certainly, on the spectrum. But that does not make him a simpleton. He's actually clearly a technical and mechanical genius. He clearly can do a lot of things, but he is
incredibly gifted in very specific ways.
Yeah. But it's like, it's not even like I don't think it's like he can't do things. It's that it is not a question of functionality. It's a question of social dynamics. He is very socially awkward, which, the best of us often are.
Right.
And
well, I don't even know if he's I guess. Right.
Yeah, well, I think, and here's the thing, and again, this goes to this idea that maybe the heroes aren't as often as noble as they think they are. So in him seeing him as a simpleton, what he's really saying is Melvin is a person who lacks the gifts I have. Because, of course, as we see, one of the big differentiators between Daredevil and Melvin and Bullseye is his social dynamics. The fact that as a young kid he had this gift of gab, and he knew how to play the angles of conversation and interact with people that made him likable even when he was doing ill. And by contrast, guys like Poindexter don't have that. And so they simply have these poor emotions they don't know how to deal with, and yet no way to react to them except through the violence that they inflict. And then, of course, it's telling that even Daredevil seeks to inflict violence at the end of the day. He's not sitting there, he's not being a lawyer and using his keen legal mind to bring down all the threats the way that guys like Foggy are.
Yeah.
In many ways, to me, Foggy is the real hero of the Daredevil series. Foggy is the guy who, I have a plan that can bring down Wilson Fisk, but no one wants to go along with his plan because it's too complicated. And but it is a brilliant plan. It is the little subtle legal reasonings that this is how Fisk's plan comes undone. It was no, I want to get him for something bigger. I don't want to get him that he didn't cross his T. But, not crossing that T is a very important thing in legal circles.
Right, and it's the same thing with Matt. I have to be the one to get him. Mm-hmm. This is your idea. It's not. I have to get the kill. The kill is mine. Sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And how's that working out for
And not very well. And his was the most sensible idea. It just wasn't as exciting as all of their idea. And they're just so thrill seekers, both of them.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I think if this had been a story of Foggy versus Kingpin, I think Kingpin would have gone down in the first round. I think that maybe that's a gross exaggeration. Obviously, Kingpin has a lot of.
Although I gotta say, it's right, and it's easier when you've got 5 other angles of his attention being occupied by futile efforts by Daredevil and Miss Karen Page.
Yeah. Yes. Well,
so he can sneak in when he's not paying attention.
Yes. We get an interesting thing in this episode. I believe it's this episode, and these things do tend to blur together for me sometimes. Which is no, that's. I'm trying to think if Nadeem and Matt break into Point Deck. No, that's next episode. They break into the apartment.
That's next episode, yeah.
So with this episode, we have Nadeem's birthday party.
Yeah.
And we have Matt breaking in.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, and essentially telling him, listen, Fisk is doing this. And at this point, Nadeem has seen the hotel and seen how he's being played.
Yeah.
And when Matt comes to him, when Daredevil comes to him and presents these things to him, he knows there's much more to the story than is presented. And I think that is the thing that makes this story, is that Nadeem is coming to understand how he has been played. And no one wants to think about how they've been played. But I think the deeper question is Fisk playing even everyone else? Like, is he playing Karen when Karen thinks she has a brilliant idea? Is that the idea that Fisk put in her mind? And the same for Daredevil. And I think Foggy may be the only one who thinks that, who is really treating Fisk like the threat he is. There's a great film, well, not a great film, a very bad film. It was one of these Attack of the Killer Bees films from the 80s. And there is this general, and he's talking to this etymologist about the killer bee.
Hey, Charlie, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Mozz, can you hear me now?
It's getting real choppy. It's like I hear you.
Okay. I don't know if that's on my end or your end.
I don't know. It's okay for now. It came back for a second.
Well, anyway, so let me tell you this anecdote. We'll finish up this story, but the anecdote is that the general says to the etymologist, what are these bees going to think when they realize we've captured some of their men? Basically, because they have the little killer bees, the drones, in a box. And the scientist says, General, they're bees. They don't care about drones. And he says, listen, I don't know anything about bees, but I do know that it's the worst thing you can ever do to think your enemy is less intelligent than you.
Mm.
And this is how I've always approached any kind of strategy with regard to storytelling. It's that, the enemy, even if your enemy is dumb, you should never assume your enemy is dumber than you, because you're not that smart. And the fact of the matter is that your enemy may have thought this stuff a few steps ahead. And if you're not anticipating that, if you're assuming that you're the one thinking ahead, that's always going to be your undoing.
Mm.
Anyway, anything else to touch on this episode?
No, I think we got to everything. This is a fun one.
It's a great episode. I mean, these are all great episodes. I do not know how Daredevil. I mean, honestly, I know Netflix had to cancel Daredevil because of various legal obligations. But
Hulu has said they'd pick it up as soon as it's able to be back.
Yeah, Hulu is probably going to bring it back, and I think Hulu will, because Disney's trying to figure out. Disney's in this spot now where they've got all these products, and they're like, well, which do we want to brand as Disney? Which do we want to brand on something else? And they really have. They have the classic difficult problem of having too many choices. We all should have those problems. But
Right.
yeah, we'll see if we do get a season 4 of Daredevil over on Hulu or somewhere else. The fact of the matter is ABC.com is its own app too. So you never know where things will wind up next. And we look forward to that. But anyway, yeah, I'm really pleased by this show. I really like how this season has been progressing and unfolding. It certainly does hold itself up as the crown jewel of the Marvel Netflix universe. That Daredevil's the one that started it, and Daredevil is the one that really shows you what you can do with all of this. I'm sure I mentioned it last episode, but I love the fact that when you had Daredevil in black and Bullseye in red, it sort of works with the comic book. It's so many great things that they do in this, and I really appreciate that. And I can't wait to talk about the next episode. Any final thoughts from you, Mozz?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. So, Mozz, if people would like to write to you or talk to you or follow you, how can they do that?
Oh, they can find me on Facebook under Mozz Manzor, or email me at mozzmanzor@gmail.com. That's MOZZMANZOOR.
And, of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way, where Mozz and Paz and Matt Murdock maybe even did in his youth at Charlie Esser. At superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. I forgot what my email address was. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet shows like Gotham, like The Orville, like, as I did last night, Miracle Workers. That's a good show you should watch. It only takes a half hour of your day, and it comes on just before Conan, so that's good. Conan O'Brien, who's now down to a half hour, but hey, that's all you can stay up for anyway. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look for the two E's in the middle.
Bing!
For quality. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to Hell's Kitchen with me and Mozz, having a beer, facing the devils we know. Good night.